Fertility Podcast with Amanda and Kat. We are so excited to have our first couple on the show. We have Shannon and Ashley here as they share their journey with us. They went through 4 RUIs as well as 1 home insemination with a frozen donor sperm. So welcome, Shannon and Ashley.
Thank you. We're excited to be here and share our story so far.
Yes.
We're so great. Go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was just going to say we're so excited. We've never had a couple on before and our first same-sex couple. So we're so excited that we get to have you guys on with us.
Awesome. We're honored. I feel like we're, normally not the first to be told our story. So it'll be excited. Hopefully we can help a lot of other same-sex couples that listen to your podcast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Shannon and Ashley, I don't know if you participated in it as well, but Shannon has a blog called The Good, Bad, and TTC. And it's super informative, kind of tells the beginning of their story, but I would love to hear from you guys. I think your blog's so raw and real where you're just transparent and you're like, obviously we knew this was going to be different than just like natural conception. And I love you put on there, I'll have to pull it up, but you're like, I thought the sperm donor piece was going to be my favorite part. We'd have some drinks, put it up on the TV and like pick like Tinder. And you've quickly found out that wasn't really the case. So we would love to hear from both of you guys, kind of, I guess, from the beginning, like from when you got married and then said, okay, I think it's time to start a family.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we actually, spoiler alert, are each other's first girlfriends, so this is, it was all very new to us, navigating through our relationship anyways, but we've been together for 9 years and we always knew we'd want to start a family, but I always thought that adoption was going to be it for me. Even, when I did think I was going to have a husband, adoptions just always had been close to my heart. And so that was always the route we knew eventually we would take. And then I think we obviously knew we'd need a sperm donor or, find a close friend, which we actually had a couple close friends who were going to play that role for us. But once we really dug deeper and realized, okay, that can really mess up a family or a relationship with your friends, depending on how you go through that process. And it just didn't feel right for us. So we ended up wanting to choose donor sperm, but we didn't know what to do next, like turkey-based method. Like we just had no idea. So after we got married, we went to a fertility specialist here in Myrtle Beach, and they went over our options with us. Surprisingly enough, I have a lower ovarian reserve. So that was, a shock to us, but they did say that we had about a year to continue with IUI if we wanted to, but after that we'd need to do IVF.
So that's super interesting to me. One of the questions we got on the Q&A was like, in the couple, who decides that they want to, like, do you make a decision as a couple, like, I want to carry and we'll use your eggs, or, we're going to use your eggs and I'm going to carry? How did that conversation happen for you two?
Well, at first, honestly, I didn't really have a desire to carry at all. I'm terrified of needles, as silly as it sounds. So just the thought of giving birth, it was like impossible. Yeah. I don't know, but Ashley, you had a desire, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I think it was like, whoever really like it. And Shannon got the testing done first. So, we kind of just went with that. And
also I think the more real it became, the more I realized I did not want to miss out on this experience. Yeah. So it kind of just fell into place. But it definitely was a conversation. But I mean, so a big piece of that is after we did the first fertility specialist, we thought, okay, well, maybe we'd do reciprocal where we'd use Ashley's egg and I'd carry the baby. So it'd be a little piece of both of us. And then, which we still might do. But anyways, we went to that doctor's appointment. After that doctor's appointment, Ashley got injured at work and she's now had three hip surgeries.
Oh my goodness.
Major hip surgeries. So now carrying a baby really isn't gonna be a piece of it.
Took me out of the picture a little, you know.
Yeah.
So, which is fine because, you know, it's, I think if we wanted to do reciprocal, like it's, you know, I'm still going to be involved no matter what. So,
absolutely.
You know, my body is just a little bit more beat up than Shannon's at the moment. So,
So, I mean, I guess in the beginning we figured I'd start first, and then if she wanted to carry later on, she could. But I'm 28 and Ashley's 35. So, you know, typically in a same-sex couple, I hear that you would do the person that's older first and then the younger person later on. But I think for us, we just knew I've always now really have a strong urge, especially after trying for a year now, like you're not going to take that away from me kind of thing. But yeah, so I mean, I think for us, it was an easy decision.
That's such a good explanation. And surgeries. I mean, they kind of decided for you, right? You're like, okay, I'm not going to also do an egg retrieval while I'm having this surgery. We can both have surgeries.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you got that diagnosis, and then so it obviously sped up your whole process. You wanted to then start the IUIs right away?
Well, she got injured, so we put our whole life on hold for about 2 years. Because what if I did get pregnant and she was going through these major surgeries, or, you know, we just didn't know where our life was going to be. And I'm not glad we took that pause, because she's still not better. She's still, you know, had to medically retire from her job. So we're still kind of in the rut of it. But we just pretty much said, screw it. If this doctor says I have a year for us to try, you know, without doing IVF, then what are we waiting for? Like, we're just putting our life on hold. We're ready to start our family. So that's what we did. We ended up going to a different doctor because I just didn't have great vibes with this doctor. But we ended up seeing my OB who does IUIs in office, and we decided to go that route. She did test my AMH level, which she confirmed it was pretty low. I think it was like a 1.6, and she said if it's under 1, they typically recommend IVF.
Girl, yours is higher than both of ours.
Yeah.
Oh, 1.6.
Yeah. I know. Well, when I heard you guys, I was like, oh my gosh, like mine must not be that bad.
No deal.
Yeah.
You got some time.
Yeah. So, and actually since then it's improved. I don't know how, like maybe my diet was just different then, but it's actually gone up a bit. So yeah. So we decided to do IUI, but in this doctor's office, they do a double IUI, which means that you would, well, first of all, I don't know if you've had IUI explained really, but so it's intrauterine insemination. And what that means is the day that you start your period, you would call in the doctor's office, and you can either do medicated or unmedicated. My first one was unmedicated, but if you did medicated, which my following ones were, you start taking letrozole or Clomid on cycle day 3 for 5 days, and then you go in about cycle day 12, and they do an ultrasound testing, or just to see your follicles and, you know, when you'll be ready. So I go in for an ultrasound. They tell us when to come back. We'd have to get fresh frozen sperm overnighted to the office, but because they do double IUIs, we had to purchase not only 1 vial of sperm, but 2, and they're about $1,000 each. And then the doctor's appointment is about $1,800, and then it's like $300 to get the sperm overnighted. And then you do a trigger injection the day before they inseminate, which would release your egg, I think. So I mean, it all adds up. I think it's about $4,000 each time we tried with this clinic.
I have so many questions about everything you just said, but the first one is somebody asked on Instagram, just kind of like if you could or if you feel comfortable speaking through like the insurance for like the LGBTQ community, and like you're dropping the prices, which I so appreciate, because this is normally the first step for a lot of couples, be it same sex or not. What did that insurance look like?
Well, I guess I'll go for this one. So with my job, I was a firefighter, and typically firefighters have pretty good health insurance, and we did, and our insurance covered up to a certain amount of money. I think it was like $15,000 for IVF or IUI. So we were like, okay, give it a shot. Hopefully it goes through. And we gave it to our doctor, and they were like, oh no, we don't even run it, because most of the time for same-sex couples, it's not approved. So that was kind of like, we were like, what? Like, that's like, is that discriminatory? Like, how is that fair? Whatever. But we were like, well, we're not going to fight them on it. If that's what they say, then we just want to, it was the time for us to go through with that IUI. So it's like, if, we say, okay, we'll try to run it, then we miss that cycle. And we were just ready to get the journey started. So insurance hasn't helped us at all. And of course, now that I've been hurt for 2 years, we lost that insurance. So now we just have like a marketplace plan or whatever. And obviously those don't cover anything either. So
that's just mind blowing to me. It's like, why even pay for insurance? I mean, obviously you want to pay for insurance for other things, and I think even like, from Amanda and I's perspective, it's like exactly what you said. You can't fight with insurance. You want a baby, you're going to keep going through. It's not like this, it is quote unquote elective, but it's really not.
Yeah. Right. And I guess like that they did say that so Shannon would have to be coded as infertile, and have fertility issues. And, at that time, our first try, we didn't really know, like, does she, or, I don't really think she does now. It's just, this is how we have to create a baby. Yeah. So, it's all about coding, and it's like really like a simple code is going to prevent us from, possibly saving money with insurance. I mean, it's crazy to me, but I mean, that's the way it is. So we just have to keep, trying how to do it how we can.
I love your mindset of like, we're just going to go, like we want to try, we want to start now and we're going to do it. Okay. Like I said, I have a lot of questions. The second thing is, what the heck is a double IUI?
I know, that's what I was going to ask.
So you have your trigger injection, and then the day after, 24 hours after, depending on your clinic, their protocol, sometimes it's 24, sometimes it's 36.
24 to 36, yeah.
So you go in for your first IUI 24 hours after your trigger injection, and they put you in the chair that like tilts all the way back, and they put a catheter right into your
uterus.
Cervix, or
you're both right. You're both right. It goes through the cervix into the uterus.
Yeah, I just know that it gets the closest it's supposed to get to put the sperm where it needs to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you do that once, and then the next day you go in and do it again. So that would be the double. Like, they think it increases your chances to, in case your egg hadn't dropped then, it'll drop the next day.
That's so cool. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, me either.
I love that. I think if I was going to do an IUI, I would want to do a double.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of that's kind of like the mindset of it. But now that, this is fast forward a bit, but now we've been seeing preg, and they're like, there's really no reason for this. It's kind of like waste of money, waste of time kind of thing. Like,
I didn't even think about
that. Like the one shot, because the sperm lives inside of you for, such and such days. They're like, it's really no point. Yeah. So when we heard that, we were like, what? We like literally have wasted, 2 extra tries we could have done doing these doubles, but
Okay, so I have one more question.
I was gonna say, I think I have one too, but you can go, Kat.
No, I've been hogging the time. I have one more question, but I really want to let you guys finish because you haven't even finished telling us like your IUIs.
No, go for it.
I'll save my question.
And we'll get into how we pick sperm donors.
Okay, that's my
that was my question too.
Yeah, I need to know all the details, and I know our listeners for sure want to know all that. I see it in, and I know I don't mean to like say movies, but you always see it in like movies and like how they have like the book and they go through like all that. So I want to know all the details. So
it's really not glamorous at all.
No, it's a headache.
But okay, so we did the double IUI. It was unsuccessful, and then we were out of money. It was like $4,000. We're out of money already. So then we decided to do an at-home insemination, which pretty much you just, like I said, you just order the sperm directly to your house. I use I think it's called Moza or Mosey. They're like these little
cups.
No.
That's the syringe?
It's like a syringe that's supposed to be curved and it's supposed to increase your chances of pregnancy at home. So ordered those. I think that was about $200. And then also I had done a lot of research, and if you use the Diva cups, you put this frozen sperm. This might be TMI, but you put the sperm inside the Diva cup, and then you insert it, and it's supposed to just let them swim up and do their thing instead of, I don't know, forcing it. It's supposed to just, they're just supposed to swim up. And then I also took Mucinex just to get all the juices flowing for those little sperms to have a chance. So, so that was an experience. But it was definitely nicer doing it at home. Like, I'll be raw and real. Like, when we did it in the doctor's office, I mean, I cried after each one. Like, it's just not what you imagine. You imagine being at home in an intimate setting, getting pregnant, and it's like, oh my gosh, I could be getting pregnant right now. This, I think we put on like NSYNC just to like get my mood good and, all the stuff. But so at home was a lot better. But we weren't really sure what we were doing. And when you're spending, even when we did it at home, it was still $2,000 because we did it 2 days in a row. So, I mean, it definitely adds up. Yeah. And then from there, we decided we wanted to switch clinics. And that's when we went to Preg, which I think is really cool that, you guys can relate. And it was just, that's what got me hooked on you guys, because it's just cool. Like, I've reached out to your acupuncturist and just like the little hints that you guys give, because we're in Myrtle Beach. So, we really appreciate that. But so we went to Preg and we absolutely love them.
Yep, love Preg.
And we did an IUI with them, and just a few tips. My first IUI at my other clinic was really not enjoyable. It hurts. It feels very awkward. But at Preg, I could barely feel a thing. Their protocol was to go in with a full bladder, and I would recommend that to anybody. Because I didn't feel anything, like it was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we did 2 IUIs there, but it was just single IUIs, and they were a lot more cost effective. So we only had to buy 1 frozen sperm, and I think they were either $500 or $800.
I think it was $500 for the IUI, but then you do have to pay for the ultrasounds. But I think
so it was about $800 each try, which is half the cost, than our other place. So we did that, and then it didn't work after the 3rd one. So we figured, well, maybe we should finally take an HSG test. And my HSG test, one doctor said she would recommend IVF, but my doctor said everything looked fine. So that's why we continued with the 4th IUI. But I guess the dye, although it went all the way through, it showed some leakage. I'm not really sure what that means, but they thought, well, maybe, the sperm wasn't making it all the way through and it was kind of like spilling out before. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
Yeah, one of our previous guest had that too, and it's kind of called like hydrosalpinx, when like it kind of drips back into the uterus. I'm surprised they didn't like kind of go, it probably didn't leak that much and they were like, oh, it's fine, but that's super interesting.
Yeah. So I think now, you know, I'm glad that we have the knowledge that we do. I think now we realize maybe, you know, my odds aren't like the typical person. Like maybe I do have some infertility issues, although I haven't quite been diagnosed. So now we've, you know, like you said, we've done 4 IUIs, 1 at-home insemination, and we took a break. We have traveled and seen family, and now we've been applying for grants to do IVF. So either that or So I think we're just ready. You know, it's been over a year. We're ready to take that next step, hold a little baby in our arms. So
yeah. Do you think you're going to continue with your eggs, or do you think you're going to possibly like switch over and maybe?
I think we haven't really talked about it, but
I mean, reciprocal IVF's always been, you know, in the forefront of our minds, so we might do that. But I mean, like Ashley said, I still don't think that there's any reason. Like, I still have follicles, I still have eggs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know. We haven't gotten that far.
I also think, like, you know, Shannon, like, she's so invested in it. She's gone through these procedures, and you know, it's a different heartache than what I'm experiencing, you know, as the partner. You know, she's, you know, she deserves to get pregnant, like, you know, so I think
don't make me cry.
I definitely think like it's worth her doing IVF first, and you know, and if that time comes and we have to have that discussion, then I'm ready for it, you know, like, but I definitely think she deserves it. She's gone through it.
So. I love that. I think I resonated with Shannon so much in the beginning when she's like, I'm so invested now that I've had like a failed IUI, or now that I've tried the treatment. You become like, it's like a finish line. You're like, okay, I quote unquote failed, which is, I don't even want to say that, but like now I want to succeed. And I know we're going to get into the sperm piece of it, but really, I mean, every IUI you get, it's a 20% chance. It's the same chance as like a healthy couple, they tell you, like just trying at home. So, you know, it's so hard, like to your point, it's like, do I really have fertility issues? Or, you know, we tried X amount, what is it, 6 times?
Only
4?
5. 5.
So it's like, so it's like, you know, you tried quote unquote a couple months, whereas like, if you were just at home and you had the option to try naturally, you probably wouldn't even have to go to a fertility clinic.
Right, exactly.
You would try for a year anyway before you would get like moved over to the fertility clinic. So technically like 5 IUIs are, you know, are only like 5 months of trying.
Right.
So yeah.
I think, and the rule of thumb at the doctor's office is 3 IUIs, and then they recommend moving to IVF. So, and I mean, like even our doctor, he's like, you've pretty much spent the amount you would spend doing IVF. Like you're just kind of wasting money at this point. But then of course, like when we had the financial advisor contact us about payment, it was like double what we've already spent, like way out into the spectrum. So
isn't that the first phone call? Oh my gosh. I remember when we got the call and we didn't really understand exactly how much it was going to be. And then when they broke it down, I like literally thought I was going to throw up. I was like, I'm sorry. Like,
it's so expensive.
And I'm at the same clinic as you guys with Preg. And so like, we actually did have a number in mind when we went down, and then we sat face to face and we were like, okay, we can do it. And then they present you with if you do 3 cycles, then you get this. And I remember we just went and got margaritas afterwards. We're like, we were so prepared, and now it's like 3 times what we thought we were going to pay.
It's crazy, you know? And then, so like her family lives in England, and it's fertility treatment is like free there or super cheap. And that's where we just went, and, you know, they were like, well, we're looking into it for you guys to see if, you know, you could come do treatment here. And we're like, you know, that would be awesome. But is it realistic? I don't know. But I mean, it's just crazy how expensive it is.
Yeah. So now I'm like, well, maybe I just need to get a job at Starbucks, because they cover IVF treatments for same-sex couples, and you know.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'm in like all these like Facebook threads for like fertility, and like people comment all the time. They're like, "Oh my God, where should I get a job for insurance?" And Starbucks is literally like the number one. They have
and you can even do part-time at Starbucks and get those benefits.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But you have to work 20 hours a week. I've really looked into it, but I don't know if I could, pull that with my full-time job. But
yeah, it's a lot.
That's fair. Okay, so can we move to the search for Superman per your blog post? I love that.
Yes. Yeah. So obviously my lovely wife is half Latina.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would want someone that, favored some of her characteristics and had a little bit of an olive complexion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love the movie Baby Mama, and like literally she's sitting in the doctor's office and the doctor's going through the slides and merging her face with the baby daddy's face, and then they have this beautiful little baby and it just looks so glamorous. Or like the Jennifer Aniston movie where they have this sperm party, this like insemination part, like everything is just like so it looks so fun. And then I remember like before we started the process, I was like, I'm gonna get my girls and we're gonna pull it up on the big screen and like just go through all the options, have one, like make it fun. And then when it actually happened, it was a lot more serious. This is like who your kid could be, have the same characteristics, have the same looks. Like it's definitely a lot deeper.
Yeah.
And so at first we kind of like our only filters were that they had to have some Spanish descent, and then that was about it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. And I won't say the other thing, but they had to be above 5'8" because, my wife's very short and she's Hispanic. So
that's so funny. When we are still getting adoption profiles, my husband has a height requirement for the man. And I'm like, babe, this is the perfect case. He's like, yeah, but I don't want my kid to be 5'4". I'm like, oh my God.
It's real. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I wish I was a little bit taller, so if I can help my future child out a little bit, then hey,
That's amazing. Okay, that's awesome.
Science has a lot of positives, right? Like
that's right, yeah.
So that, and then like literally once you put in that they have to be Hispanic, Mexican, any of those options, your search goes from like 5,000 to like 5.
I saw that in your post. I was like, oh my goodness, you literally have like, I think you said 700 to 7 or something when you
it was crazy. But then also you have like 10 different sperm banks to choose from. It's very overwhelming. And then you have to pay, like some places it's $150 just to see information on each profile or see like one picture, and then you have to pay extra for multiple pictures. But you can hear like a video recording of that, like not see them, but you can hear an audio recording, I guess would be better to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that part's cool, the audio recording. I can kind of relate to a lot of this because and I know Amanda did embryo adoption, but we looked into embryo adoption, and I thought you were going to get all this information and you get like a picture. It was almost like a Craigslist ad, at least the one I went on, and you just got like these bullet points. But the voice recording's really neat.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chime in with that. So obviously my son is through embryo adoption, so we have the whole entire sperm donor profile, and so we have a baby picture of like the sperm donor. And then we got to hear his voice, like as an adult right now. So like so like later when he's older, he can even technically like hear his like biological.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
I do think that there's definitely some benefit. Obviously, you'd rather have them in the flesh, but I think it's really cool that our future kid can grow up and have like a little piece of their donor.
Yeah.
But so each time we would we found a perfect donor, and he, like Ashley's she's a first responder, she's into working out and, boxing, just like random stuff. But so we'd find people that kind of had the same ideals as you.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a perfect one, but then their genetic history wasn't right. So it's like, you just, once you really start looking, it's like, oh, well, their grandma has this, or like, and then they do genetic testing, and I haven't done genetic testing, which probably would be beneficial. But that's just more money. And so anyone with a
genetic, like mutation disorder or something, we would just
cancel them out,
X them out, because, we don't know if she has it. And then if you put the two together, does it increase the odds that the baby would have something? So we just kind of, we said, okay, we'll just skip that person.
Mm-hmm. And then we found out about CMV testing. And I think if you're positive, you can literally pick someone who's positive or negative. If you're negative, which is very rare, you can only pick people who are negative. And of course, I'm negative. So that narrowed our search down even more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been tough. And every time we find someone, we'll order them. And then but we can't, like, we're not made of money. Like, we cannot order this in bulk. Like, we would love to, like, a lot of people, which if you can do it, I would recommend. You find the one that you like, and then you order 10 vials or something. But we just couldn't do that. So we'd order what we needed at that time, and then we'd have to go look again, and they'd be out of sperm. So we've done it, between IUI and at home, we've tried 5 times, and I think we've used 4 different donors.
Yeah.
So it's just, and that's why, that's why it's
dumb question. So for each IUI, is it like 1 vial? Is that how that works? Or
yes.
Okay.
But since we did the double IUIs, we had to get 2 vials.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And how does it come like preserved to your home? Like, is it frozen?
Oh yeah. It comes in like a big tank, and when it's delivered, it'll stay, like, they guarantee it to stay frozen like that for 7 days. But
wow.
We have it. Now we're having it shipped to Prague, and I think they take it out and they put it in their freezer that they have there. But yeah, it comes in this huge tank,
it's
and
like,
it's zip tied.
It's, is that what it's called?
Liquid nitrogen, I think. Yeah. So yeah.
But like you have this massive tank, and then you pull it out, and there's just this little tiny vial, and it's like this whole thing for this tiny thing. So yeah, it's not fun.
And it can be a little like nerve-wracking with like delivery, because on a weekend or whatever. But I will say, shout out to FedEx that they've gotten us the package on time, and that's been good. So.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I just feel like you guys have hit so many roadblocks, and even just like the CMV thing, you're like, this should be easy. Yeah. And then now there's just like, I mean, it sounds, you guys could totally handle IVF if you've already been through a lot.
Yeah. Well, I will say also, I am a boss at needles now.
Yeah. So she's overcome that fear. So that's cool.
After all the blood work and trigger injections, I know those are like minor things, but to me it's big hurdles. And now
that's huge.
I think IVF, like at first IVF was like a heck no, I would never be able to do that kind of thing. But now I'm like, I could do it. Like for our family, I can do it. Yeah, so
for sure. I feel like fertility treatments and all that like really just shows all of us like how strong we really are. And I think that just shows you too. Like, I'm willing to do anything to have this family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that sums it up. We're just waiting to see what comes next. And like I said, we took a break, but we're ready. Ashley, she's not working, so all she has is time to do research and stuff. So, and that too with like the sperm donors, like I'll be like, I'm so over this. Like, can you just look at the accounts and narrow it down to 2, and we'll pick them together? Like, she definitely has taken over, because she knows that just stresses me out to my core. Like it's just, like I said, my least favorite thing to do. Like, it's just so draining. So
I think I have it down now, though. I get a cup of coffee, set the computer up, get my notepad, and I go on, the 4 or 5 different sites, and then boom, 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 and then I write it down. She comes home from work, and I'm like, okay, we got these 3 to pick from for 4 hours of looking.
I love that, because I feel like, Shannon, you were like, this is going to be my thing, and now it's totally Ashley's thing.
Yeah. I hate it.
That's awesome. So curious. So with Preg, because I think Amanda may be able to relate to this. Some fertility clinics, like, you're limited to what sperm donor bank they'll allow. Like, are you limited to that, or
No.
I think they made like some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
But
they definitely are a little bit more strict. Like, before I purchase, I always send it to them and be like, hey, is this person okay? Because like, if they have a genetic, like if they are a red flag for genetic testing, or like some of the other ones, like if they were CMV positive and we were like, this is all we got, we just want to go through, I think we'd have to sign a waiver. Like, they are a little bit more strict.
I think they require whoever we pick to have like an extended genetic testing, as opposed to just like the basic stuff. I know that we sent one over and they were like, well, this person doesn't have the extended testing, so we just found a different one.
So do you guys know, because I feel like, so like, say my husband and I, we had a failed IVF, and I'm like, well, is it my fault or is it your fault? Not fault, like, is it what happened or whatever? Does a sperm donor, number one, I guess, have to have like already procreated and have a child, or do they go through that like sperm count testing and it's like check?
I think where we're ordering from, the banks that they go through, like,
they don't have
testing.
to have but they don't have to have a confirmed pregnancy. But if they do, then normally that bumps up to the top of our list.
It'll show on their profile.
But certain places, I think they just have to have,
The sperm testing is so easy too. I mean, there's like 3 things that if they hit those marks, and they're good to go.
Well, I know, and I can't remember which bank we used. Maybe it was the Cryo International or something like that. Yeah. But they, like, you can buy either 500.
Oh yeah,
is it
the motility? Whatever. They have different options for
and
you.
like, so the lowest one's like $500, and then it's $800, and then it's so you obviously you want to get the highest one, but
that's
for IUI at least.
So that was gonna be my next question, and then I'll stop talking about sperm. So with IUI, and like, if you guys are gonna decide to go into IVF, will that change the process at all, or you just you pick the sperm donor, and then once you do the egg retrieval, they'll just fertilize with that?
Well, when you pick a sperm donor, like, they have different availabilities, so they'll either have IUI vials available, ICI, and like washed or unwashed kind of thing. And I can't remember which one you need for IVF, but I think that would be the only difference. We just have to make sure that the donor has the certain type of vial that we need. But other than that, but I do know with IVF, like, if we had 1 vial of sperm, they could use that for multiple rounds. Like, it's not just it's not like how IUI you use that whole thing. Like, I think that would last us a longer amount of time.
Like, I think, because I think they just use 1 sperm to.
Ashley, you're right. So it's called like ICSI, and I know you were getting there. So basically what they do is they literally take 1 sperm and they put it in the egg, and then another sperm, and they like in a little petri dish. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. So it would probably be cheaper on that front in terms of the sperm process. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it would hopefully last us a bit longer, and we wouldn't have to go back to the drawing board.
Each time.
Yeah. And then the other thing I just remembered that I would like to say, just on the LGBT forefront, is when we transitioned fertility clinics to Preg, which is something that we never heard of, they required us to have a statement of parental intent, which means that, like, do you remember what it means?
So pretty much, like, if they were going to help us make a baby, we're saying as a couple that, I intend to parent this child with Shannon, and then so that's just like a statement that we had to pay for a lawyer, sign a couple papers. And then when she does get pregnant, they will help me go through the process of adopting the baby because I won't have technically any rights. So yeah, when we went to our OB, they didn't require any of that. So that was kind of like, we were like, oh wow, I did some research and I knew that that's like a thing, but I probably it's a requirement, which is great because they're looking out for both parties and making sure that the child is going to get taken care of as well.
I think it was like if I was pregnant and maybe got in a car crash or something happened to me, then like if we didn't have this, then like my mom, not that she would, but could say, no, this baby's mine, like Ashley has nothing to do with it, kind of thing. Which still could happen. This is only a document. It's not like, but at least having this, she would have a little bit more say in what happens with the child if anything happened to me. And then, like afterward, she'd still have to adopt it, even though she'd be on the birth certificate. And it's crazy that, LGBTQ rights still aren't, equal. And that really sucks, But I'm glad that they have things like this in place to.
I love how both of you are like, it's, it's looking out for us in a sense. Like that's really good. Cause if you went with a different clinic or something, you could be like, the kid could be 15 and something could happen and all of a sudden your world would be turned upside down.
Right.
I appreciate you bringing that up. I mean, Amanda and I both know how expensive adoption is. So is it really the exact same as like a quote unquote adopt?
No, I don't think
it'd just be like for the legal side. Like it'd be like, I think they said
it was like $2,000.
Yeah, like $2,000 or $3,000.
More towards like how mine is. So like for embryo adoption, like they donated the embryos, but then we had to pay like the lawyer fees and for them to like, get the contract and all that, and it was around like $2,000 for that.
Yeah. So probably about the same.
Yeah.
Which I think, I would love to even look into embryo adoption. If Ashley can't be a part of, which I think is kind of about the same as your story, like if Ashley can't be a part of it, then it's special to just have life that's, not a part of you, but it's so much a part of you. And I think embryo adoption would be really, really special to look into too. But we just
like Ashley be a pro at like going through those profiles.
I don't need any more profiles.
Another thing. Yeah, I'll have to look into, I guess.
Well, I could talk to you guys for hours. I feel like I could just keep asking questions. I so appreciate you guys being willing to be on the show and sharing your story. Is there anything either one of you guys want to share with listeners, like lasting thoughts? We'll definitely link your blog. I know it's still getting up and running, but like I just learned so much just running through the first 3 posts. I really liked it a lot.
Well, good. I'm glad. I just think, which it's the same for same-sex couples, but you just get so drained, whether like you said, like we've only done it 4 times, but it's taken us a whole year. It's been a whole year of our life being, put on hold and just really being strict on money. And I think no matter where you're at, just make sure you take time for yourself and take a break, because like I said, like we went on this trip and I really needed it. And I'm, trying to get back into the fertility mind. But you just, if you need a break, just take a break and don't, beat yourself up on it. But I think from an LGBTQ point, it just, I don't know. I feel like it's the same. It's not the same. We do have different hurdles than a same-sex couple, but I think, we're all going through it. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We're an open book at this point. That's why I started the blog. We are pretty private, but I just was going crazy keeping it all to myself. And I really needed an outlet, and that's why I started the blog. So yeah, if anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Well, I think you touched on it a little bit. I mean, in this journey for anyone, I think there's going to be hurdles, and, it's not going to go as smooth as you want it to. And if it does, that's awesome. But I think you just have to keep keep going, you know, like no matter what happens, you figure it out. And that's life, you know, even when you have your baby, like there's things that are going to happen and it's going to be crazy, and, you know, you just keep going.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're excited to be the first gay couple you guys had.
I love it.
And to start off Infertility Week, right? So that's even
yeah.
Shows you how much I know.